Some of the most meaningful things in our lives don't happen during special occasions. They don't come with a calendar reminder. They don't announce themselves. They're sometimes just quietly happening in the background. And a lot of times we don't even notice them until they're gone. Like the growth of our kids happens so gradually because we see them every day. But when you're intentional about capturing their growth over a span of years, you'll be grateful you did. I think most of us believe that there are two options when it comes to memory keeping. Either you're constantly documenting everything, or you're just living in the moment. But recently I've realized that those are not the only choices, because there are a lot of different ways that we can preserve memories. Taking photos, yes, but also writing things down. And I think most of us are already doing some of them without even realizing it. The question is whether we're being intentional about it. So I started breaking this down, and I came up with basically 3 levels of memory keeping. And I realized that I was kind of stuck at level 1 for years without even knowing that there were any other levels. So let's get into it. Level 1, reactive memory keeping. So this one is pretty common of what I'd say most of us are doing. It's something happens and you capture it. Like your toddler does something hilarious, so you grab your phone. Someone blows out birthday candles, so you get a video. Your kids are hugging, so you hurry and take a photo. So this kind of memory keeping, it's beautiful because it's spontaneous, it's authentic, it's real life unfolding in front of you. But it's also the level where we operate kind of on autopilot. The phone comes out when something cute happens and then goes away when it doesn't. And the problem with that is that the cute moments or these kind of moments are not the only ones worth keeping. And that brings us to level 2, which is intentional memory keeping. And this is where it kind of gets interesting because you can actually be intentional inside a moment that's already happening. Without staging it or making it weird, you just decide beforehand what you want to make sure that you capture. So for example, think about Christmas morning. Instead of being reactive to just taking photos of whatever happens that day, maybe ahead of time, you make a plan. You decide, I want to capture the reaction of my kids walking into the living room and seeing the tree. Or I want a video of everyone opening their gifts. Or I want to make sure that I get a family photo of everyone that day. And here's what happens when you do this. Instead of constantly wondering if you're missing something important, you already have a plan. You capture the moments you want intentionally, and then you put your phone away. And you can just be there. It's easy to think planning shots would make you feel less present, but it's actually the opposite. Intentional capture helps me be more present because I know I got what I wanted. And then I can put the camera away and just enjoy being there. And the same thing applies to vacations, birthday parties, school events, family gatherings. With any moment that's already happening, you just get a little more thoughtful about how you document it. You're not creating the memory because it's already happening, but you're just being thoughtful about how you preserve it. Okay, so level 3. And this one I feel is the most underrated level of memory keeping, and that's proactive preservation. It means deliberately capturing the ordinary before it quietly disappears. Some of the most meaningful things in our lives don't happen during special occasions. So these can be specific traditions that you do yearly, like photo traditions, yearly interviews. In fact, if you are interested in specific traditions and methods for documenting your kids' growth over time, I have a whole video on that coming soon that I will link here in the description and at the end when it's ready. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. But for now, I just want you to understand the concept. That's what proactive preservation is. So the question becomes, what do I want to make sure I don't lose? The way your child mispronounces certain words right now. The bedtime routine, however crazy it is. The way siblings interact when they think no one's watching. The sound of a grandparent's voice. What your home looks like right now. Like the house, the walls, the way the light comes in, the way the toys are scattered everywhere from your child's imagination. These aren't things that necessarily feel important in the moment, but they're things that we're gonna miss when they're gone. And this level is also where journaling comes in, because a photo and video can tell you what something looked like and sounded like, but a journal entry tells you what it felt like. And more importantly, what it felt like to you at that moment in time. The funny thing that your kid said that it made you laugh so hard you fell to the ground. Or the way it felt the first time your kid said, I can do it myself. And you were proud and heartbroken at the exact same time. A photo and video can't hold all of that, but some sentences in a notebook can. All right, there's one more thing I want to talk about, and it's the part that nobody puts on social media. I think sometimes we only want to preserve the good parts, or we're trained to only preserve and show those parts. Like the happy moments, the milestones, the things that look nice in a frame. But that's not real life, is it? Real life is happy and sad and hard and fun and messy and crazy. After my first daughter was born, I went through severe postpartum depression. The transition to becoming a mom was one of the hardest seasons of my life. I was not thriving. I was not glowing. I was literally just trying to get through every day. But even during that season, I somehow still made myself take photos of me and my newborn. Not because I wanted to remember how I looked. In fact, I don't want to. I red puffy face from crying and stuff. I didn't want to capture that, but something in me still told me that I should capture, or that I should still take these photos of me with my daughter, even though I didn't look that happy. But I knew that she was only going to be a newborn once, and I didn't want to lose that. I was doing it for my future self and for my daughter. But here's what I didn't expect. Those photos mean something completely different to me now. I don't necessarily see a tired woman. I see a woman who was struggling, who was learning how to be a mother, who was carrying a lot, and who showed up anyway. Those photos are not valuable because they're perfect. They're valuable because they're honest. They're proof of a chapter in my story. And they remind me that I made it through. And then over time, as I see the photos from that hard time to the photos that come months and years later, I see that change. I see that growth. And I'm so proud of the person that I became. And I wouldn't really be able to see that if I hadn't captured those hard moments in that hard season. Intentional memory keeping isn't just about preserving the beautiful seasons. It's about preserving your real life. Because one day the difficult seasons become part of the story too. And sometimes they're the chapters that show us our growth the most. And please, get yourself in the photos and videos, especially if you're a mom. We all know that most of the time it's us doing the documenting, so we're hardly ever in the photos. And maybe even we choose to not be in them because we didn't get ready that day, or we're self-conscious about how we look in photos and videos. But I'm going to tell you, your kid does not care. They care that you're in it. Especially in the future, your kids will be grateful that they have some photos of their parents. And also, your future self will thank you too. So here's what I want you to take from this. Good memory keeping isn't about choosing one of these 3 levels. It's about using all 3. Because reactive memory keeping gives you the spontaneous, real moments. Intentional memory keeping gives you the moments you planned for and then the freedom to be present. And proactive preservation gives you the ordinary things that you'll miss most when they're gone. So here's my challenge to you. Look at the memories that you're already capturing and ask yourself, how can I be a little more intentional with them? It's not taking more photos or taking more videos. It's just about being more intentional. So plan a few shots before your next event. Record a conversation instead of taking a posed photo. Document something ordinary that you'd normally overlook. Ask yourself, what would I regret not preserving? What about this season of life is temporary? What feels ordinary right now that might feel priceless later? Because the hardest thing about a season of life is that you usually don't realize that you're in one until it's already over. In fact, there's a quote from The Office that says, I wish there was a way you could know you're in the good old days before you've left them, or something like that. And that's what this is about. So if you've liked this video and you want to see more content like this, then please hit subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from, and I would love to take you along for the journey. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.